8-year-old Cherish Perrywinkle simply wanted something many children ask for: a new dress. She went to Walmart with her mother on a summer evening, full of excitement and innocence. But that trip ended in tragedy. Within just a few hours, she would be kidnapped and brutally murdered by a predator pretending to help. This was not a sudden or random act. It was premeditated. The man behind this crime had a history of targeting children and used manipulation to get close. Despite clear warning signs, no one intervened in time. What followed was a horrifying chain of events that unfolded minute by minute, leaving a community devastated and a family shattered. Who was Cherish Perrywinkle? Cherish Lily. Perrywinkle was an 8-year-old girl living in Jacksonville, Florida. She was described by those who knew her as full of life, kind-hearted, and always looking out for her younger sisters. Her mother, Rain, raised her daughters alone, doing her best despite financial challenges. Cherish's world may have been modest, but her dreams were big and her heart was even bigger. Being the eldest, Cherish often played a caring role at home. That night, she was thrilled about a rare chance to buy clothes. It seemed like a small thing, but for her, it meant the world. She had no idea that someone was watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. On June 21, 2013, her life took a tragic turn. A man named Donald James Smith, just weeks out of prison, approached her family and offered to help. That moment would change everything. Donald James Smith. Donald James Smith was 56 years old at the time of the crime. He had a well-documented criminal record, including multiple offenses involving children. Just 3 weeks before meeting Cherish, he had been released from jail after pretending to be a child protection officer. Despite his disturbing history, he was walking free and unsupervised. Smith was manipulative and cunning. On the night of June 21st, he overheard Rain talking about not having enough money for clothes. He stepped in, offering help. He claimed his wife had a Walmart gift card they didn't need and offered to drive them to the store. Desperate for help and trying to trust a stranger, Rain agreed. It was a decision that would haunt her forever. Smith seemed helpful and kind, but it was all an act. He had a plan, and he was about to carry it out. Walmart, the last place she was seen? Security cameras showed the family entering Walmart around 10:30 p.m. At first, everything seemed fine. Cherish walked through the aisles with her mother and sisters. Smith was friendly, pushing the cart, blending in like any regular shopper. Rain focused on finding clothes while Smith slowly gained Cherish's trust. At one point, he offered to take her to McDonald's inside the store to get a snack. It sounded innocent. Cherish went with him, believing she'd be back in a few minutes, but she never returned. By 11:20 p.m., Rain was panicking. She searched the store and called 911, her voice shaking. Surveillance footage confirmed the truth. At 10:55 p.m., Smith was seen walking out calmly with Cherish. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He acted like it was just another ordinary moment. The search begins. As soon as police reviewed the footage, an Amber Alert was issued. Smith's name and vehicle details were released to the public. Law enforcement teams spread out across the region, racing against the clock. In most child abduction cases by strangers, the first few hours are the most critical. Rain appeared on television, pleading for her daughter's return. Officers tracked Smith's phone and searched his known hangouts, but Smith avoided detection by driving through back roads. Investigators feared the worst. Based on Smith's past, they knew his intentions were likely violent. As the hours passed, hope started to fade. Smith had too much time alone with Cherish, and his criminal background offered little optimism. The community held its breath, praying for a miracle that never came. The discovery. On the morning of June 22, 2013, officers searching a wooded area near a Jacksonville church made a heartbreaking discovery. They found the body of Cherish Perrywinkle. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled. The scene was horrifying. Her small body showed clear signs of abuse and cruelty. What began as a simple shopping trip ended in unspeakable tragedy. The news spread fast and the community was in shock. Strangers brought candles, flowers, and toys to Walmart, turning the parking lot into a memorial. People who had never met Cherish cried and grieved. The feeling in the city was one of heartbreak and rage. A child had been stolen from a public place in plain sight, and no one had been able to stop it. It was a wake-up call and the beginning of a demand for justice. The trial justice for Cherish. Donald Smith's trial didn't begin until 2018, nearly 5 years later. Many were frustrated by the delay, but prosecutors were building a strong case. The trial revealed shocking details. The medical examiner testified about the injuries Cherish suffered. It painted a clear picture of deliberate evil actions. Smith's defense argued mental illness, but the evidence was overwhelming. Jurors heard the 911 call. They saw the Walmart video. Forensic experts linked Smith directly to the crime scene. The jury wasn't convinced by his excuses. After a short deliberation, Smith was found guilty of kidnapping, rape, and murder. He was sentenced to death. While the verdict gave a sense of justice, it could never bring back what was lost. Cherish's family had a long road ahead in healing, impact, and outrage. The case caused nationwide outrage. People were angry that Smith, with such a dangerous past, had been released. He had already broken the law multiple times. Why wasn't he monitored? How could this have happened? Cherish's murder sparked calls for changes in laws related to sex offenders. There were demands for better tracking systems, stronger parole enforcement, and tougher background checks. Many believed that the system had failed Cherish completely. Cherish Perrywinkle, despite her grief, began speaking out. She warned other parents about the dangers of trusting strangers and pushed for reforms. Her voice, full of pain, became a call for awareness and change. A child remembered. Cherish Perrywinkle is remembered not only as a victim, but as a symbol of innocence lost in the most heartbreaking way. Her bright eyes, wide smile, and joyful presence continue to leave a lasting impression. Her photos are shared across social media, shown at memorials, and held close by a community that refuses to forget. Her name has become a powerful reminder of how precious and fragile childhood can be. Every year on June 21st, the people of Jacksonville and beyond come together to honor her memory. They gather in parks, outside Walmart, and near the place where she was last seen. Balloons are released into the sky, candles flicker in silence. Stories are shared, some by those who knew her, others by strangers who were touched by her story. In these moments, Cherish becomes more than a headline. She becomes a child everyone feels connected to. Her tragic death sparked conversations, movements, and new safety efforts. In her name, laws have been proposed. Awareness campaigns have been launched in schools and communities. But perhaps the most powerful impact of her story is the way it changed people's behavior, urging them to be more cautious, more protective, and more aware of the dangers that can hide behind a friendly face. Cherish's memory continues to protect children, even in her absence. Cherish Perrywinkle's story is not just about a crime. It's about how trust can be broken, how systems can fail, and how a moment of kindness can be used by someone evil. But her story also sparked action. It forced people to pay attention, to care more, and to protect the vulnerable. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Let Cherish's life remind us all to stay aware, protect our children, and never ignore the warning signs. Her voice may be silent, but her story will never be forgotten.